welcome back to the Pen and Inkwell. So this is the first weekend of 2017, excluding New Year's Day last Sunday obviously. This is the first full week we've had now of 2017, and we're back to work and back to school and starting to get back into normality. So a lot of sort of exciting things ahead here for us as a family, as a Hanson family over the next year really. A lot of celebrations, a lot of milestones, some big birthdays, mine included. So we're really going to be sort of looking at, and especially with the Pen and Inkwell as well, we're going to be looking at doing a few new bits and bobs as well over 2017 hopefully. And I'm really glad and looking forward to sharing that with you. It'll be really exciting. Part of certainly what I'm doing this year is starting to get a bit healthier. As I said, I've got a big birthday approaching midway through this coming year, and I really want to use this as that sort of springboard to a sort of healthier lifestyle for the second sort of portion of my life, or certainly the second portion of my sort of adult life. And so we've been down today and we've joined in the gym, and so it's going to be a bit of a sort of, tomorrow marks the kickstart of sort of, this new lifestyle for us here. So hopefully you will see that progress on the videos as well as the time goes on, and I'll keep you all updated anyway. So back to what you actually want to hear from me and what you are actually here for. Pens, inks, papers, we've had them all. Just before Christmas we reviewed, we didn't review, I let you know and talked about the 5 pens that I reached for most in 16, sorry, not 2015, goodness me. And now what I'm going to do now is look at the inks, not necessarily that I reach for most, because I have so many inks. I think my count is sort of close to 170 sort of different inks that I have here. So actually coming down and finding 5 was pretty much, well, it was a difficult job, and sort of justifying those 5, why those 5, why not others, and I'll talk you through why I got to the 5 that I've got to. So there are loads of inks that I love and loads that I keep going to more than others, but these are 5 of them that for different reasons really stand out for me this year. There's some great ones that I've literally just had through the post yesterday as samples, some more Robert Oster inks I've had as samples yesterday, kindly sent to me by Janine. Thank you very much, Janine. I've got a couple of other Robert Oster ink samples as well, so I'm going to be doing a review of those in the coming weeks. But today, let's get back to these 5. So, I'm not going to do any close-ups of these because I've got little links up, so I hope you'll be able to see them actually. So this is what we've got. So 5, no particular order. This isn't 1 to 5 or 5 to 1 or anything like that. These are all equal. I think this sort of goes without saying really. KWZ Honey. I'd be surprised if it isn't on most people's 5 of 2016. It really made an impact through 2016. And there's a bit of a swab of it for those of you that want to see. So the swab and the ink bottle. There is a review of this ink, or the KWZ, however you wish to pronounce it, inks that I did earlier in the year. I'm not a fan of brown inks at all, but this ink I absolutely love. KWZ inks were ones that I only sort of stumbled across in 2016, and I think they've made a big sort of development over this year. I was lucky enough to be sent some samples, and now fortunate to own 6 or 7 of them in my collection now that they've started selling them over here in the UK as well. It makes them a lot easier to access. So please go and have a look at the KWZ Honey. It's a beautifully warm ink that isn't brown, it isn't yellow, but it just looks so beautiful on the page, and I absolutely love writing with it. And I sort of reach for it in any pen really. It sort of goes in any colour pen and anything, but right now I've got it inked in my my mustard Pilot Capitalist, which looks beautiful. Don't know where I've put that now, I've just inked it up. Right, so secondly, this was a bit of a surprise to me, and again I came across, let me see how we pronounce this, Rohrer and Klingner inks back probably coming up 2 years ago, I had cassia. Somebody sent me a bottle of cassia, and I've mislaid that somewhere. I really don't know where that is. And I took a trip over to Pure Pens and Ross and had a look, and they're now starting to stock these inks. So I picked up a couple of them. But this Rohrer and Klingner, the one I've picked for this year that really stood out for me is this one, Solferino. Look at that colour. It's just a fantastic ink too. It still looks nice when I'm journaling. I have no issue journaling with this, but I use it very much in my diary for appointments or to write birthdays, and everything sort of really stands out. I tend to have a pen regularly inked with something a shade like that, so that it sort of stands out in my work diary, or when I'm making notes, or when I'm just sort of notating something. It looks great. So we're going back to KWZ now for my third ink that I really loved. And this one is Menthol Green. And actually, I don't know why I'm showing you the box. Why am I showing you the box? This is Menthol Green. Now this was a very, very close toss-up with the Diamine Tropical Glow Shimmer ink. Sort of very similar sort of colour background, but obviously the shimmer ink has the speckles in it as well. Very, very tail end of 2016, but I love it enough for it to make it into here, and I know this is going to be an ink that I'm going to use an awful lot. This one made it over the Diamine Shimmer purely because I love the shimmer inks, but I've found actually with these ones that they're drying up in sort of some pens. Like, it takes a little while to get them started sometimes, and with that I know I can reach for it, and I know it's always going to write every time, and I just love that base colour, so really pleased with that. But this one took such a long time to come up with. If you've noticed, I've intentionally, if I went for the top 5 inks that I reach for, they would all be blue, or they would be tealy blues or aqua blues or turquoise blues, but they would be blue of some description, all 5 of them. So I intentionally went out of my way to make sure that, Karis is nodding behind the camera, intentionally went out of my way to make sure that I had a bit of a representation across the colours. So we've had a sort of brown, we've had a really bright pink, and we've had this sort of greeny blue. And I wanted a blue. Something that you would use in work, something that if you do work in an environment where you can't use something a little more exciting or a little more playful maybe, then, you know, if you need a blue, then I was sort of looking at different blues, and I came up with so many of them that I like. One that actually, a Noodler's ink, Noodler's Monkey Hanger, that was very, very close to being chosen. Very muted blue. But actually, I went with, I think I then looked at Diamond Sapphire, but I think I may have chosen that last year. No, I think I actually used, there's nothing better than sort of Waterman, what was the old Waterman Florida blue as a blue. However, this is Diamine Majestic blue. New to me this year, the new Diamine boxes as well, as you can see this year, and it is blue. And what I like about it is it's not purple blue, it hasn't got a sort of aqua-y blue, it is just blue. And you know, it's Diamine, so it is trusted, it's got good flow, it writes very, very well. So when I'm looking for a blue ink, I really like this blue. It's slightly darker than Waterman Florida blue or anything like that, but it's really worth having a look and giving it a go. So this year, I think I really hope to get a couple of Ackerman inks over here. As I say, the Robert Oster inks I'm looking at, got some samples, but got to get some bottles over now. So that's the aim for this year, definitely. And then finally, but I use a lot of purple inks as well. Again, noting, making dates in the diaries, things that stand out. So it's not just sort of writing the odd things, it's things that I want to make a bit of a pop, really. And the one I always go back to, Waterman Violet. It's just a beautiful violet colour, I'll show you. It's not dark, it's just a really nice, bright violet colour, and that's why. So, 5 inks: Waterman Violet, Diamine Majestic Blue, KWZ Menthol Green, Rohrer and Klingner Solferino, KWZ Honey. The 5 inks that sort of represent across a sort of colour range really for 2016. As I said, had I gone for my top 5, they all would have been blue. And it probably would have been something I'd mentioned before, sort of last year. If you want me to do some sort of recommendations on colour groups that you'd like me to do during this year, then please let me know. Happy to do that. You know, what would be my top 5 blues, my top 5 sort of violets, pinks. I very rarely use blacks. I have one pen inked with Noodles Black, and that is for sort of, you know, documentation purposes, and that pen stays inked with Noodles Black. And I do reach for Mont Blanc grey every now and then. So there aren't many. I like some grey inks, but certainly blacks I don't reach for an awful lot. Blue blacks, yeah, I've got some nice ones sort of on the way. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested. I'm digressing a little bit now. So thank you very much again for being with me through 2016. I hope you stay with me through 2017, and we'll see how everything goes. Thanks, bye.